Huh? What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogreboy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 2006 movie, The Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause. So, in this movie, Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus are expecting a baby, and she's having a hard time wanting to have family there and stuff, and so he goes and gets her parents and brings them to the North Pole, and they're pretending that the North Pole is Canada, because they don't think their parents could keep the secret about him being Santa. And it causes a lot of chaos, and on the side, Jack Frost, the legendary figure who is jealous of Santa, is wreaking havoc throughout the North Pole, little to Santa's knowledge that he's the one doing it, and eventually he convinces Santa into using the escape clause where he wishes that he never became Santa at all, and so when he does that, Jack Frost gets the Santa suit and becomes Santa Claus, and he has to race against time to save Christmas and restore his life back to the way it was by getting the coat back. This movie is pretty good at times. It's kind of a mixed bag for me. I'm really mixed on this movie. There were things I really like about it. I think the chemistry with Martin Short and Tim Allen as Jack Frost and Santa is really good. I think they work really good together, and they're both really funny in this movie. And I think that Tim Allen is once again great as Santa and everything. I know a lot of people say he phoned in his performance. I don't really see that. I think he was still really good in here. I think the rest of the cast were, for the most part, pretty good, except for Ann-Margret and Alan Arkin, who I think are really great actors and stuff, but their performances in this, I think they knew that this wasn't like the best written movie and stuff, and they didn't really have the best dialogue to work with and stuff, and they were very weird in this movie. Like, the way their dialogue is written and the way they talk to each other and interact with each other and the other characters, they're just really weird characters, and their performances just come off as very weird, and everything. I think that they're fine in the movie, they're just very weird and everything, and it seems like, especially Alan Arkin, is just kind of phoning it in and everything, but I think they're okay new additions to the movie. I like that they brought Laura Neal and Lucy up to the North Pole too. I thought that was pretty cool. It sucked that Charlie was barely in this movie. And I think that's another thing that I had a problem with in this movie is Charlie's barely there, and my biggest problem is Bernard isn't in this movie at all, and they replaced him with Curtis, and Curtis was the character that I thought was fine in the second movie. He was borderline annoying, but he didn't get on my nerves too bad. But this movie, he's completely annoying, and he pretty much gives up the entire secret of the escape clause to Jack Frost, and is the reason why everything happens, and he doesn't get in trouble for it or anything like that. No repercussions for it, and it's like you almost run this man's life and everything. And he's not a very... to me, he's not a very likable character. Curtis just gets on my nerves in the third movie and everything. He has this high and mighty attitude, and he's always up Santa's butt and everything. He just kind of gets on my nerves in this movie, and everything. And I do feel like the marketing was a little bit disappointing, or made the movie disappointing too, because it marketed like it was this whole mind-bending movie where he was going to have to regain his family and all that, and it turned out that the whole, what should have been the whole premise of the entire movie just turned out to be the last 30 minutes of it, and the ending felt rushed, and I feel like this movie could have been better. As far as it goes for ending the trilogy, it's okay. I've kind of come to terms with it and have accepted it for what it is. It ain't not as good as the first two movies in a trilogy, which a lot of threequels don't stick the landing in the trilogy. They're either not the best ones, or usually or sometimes even in some cases like this one, the worst of the three. But I think that this one could have been better. It could have been a lot worse too. It's just fun for what it is. It's kind of cringy at times and really corny and stuff at times, but it's an okay movie. I've come to enjoy it whenever I watch the first two movies. I always watch this one anyway. Even though it's not one of my favorites, I still watch it as a trilogy. I think it completes this story pretty decently. I can't wait to see what they do with the Santa Clauses show and stuff, which by the time this video is out, I'll probably have seen the first two episodes, but yeah, I think the Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause, is just a really mediocre movie, and it's easily my least favorite out of this franchise. And unless the Santa Clauses show is really, really disappointing, I don't see it being worse than this. But like I said, there were things that were good in here. The chemistry between all of the cast members is great, though. That was one thing I can say that they carried from the first two movies, is they all still work really great together. The sets look pretty cool and have that fun little magical feel of the North Pole and everything. They bring that back. So there are things about it that are good. So it's not completely bad. It just isn't great. So I'd say I'd give Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause a 6 out of 10. It's an okay movie, but it's not anything super special, and it's definitely not one of the best of the franchise. I'd even say that if you're not a big fan of this movie, this is one that you could probably skip watching and not even watch this one when you watch the other two, or just watch the first one or whatever. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of the Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.